there forever. Instead, you want to think of it as a social currency. As long as it does its job, and in this case, it's helping us to launch our product, then that is fine. Facebook review groups. Make sure to find a trustworthy group. Ask lots of questions about them before you climb into bed with them. Make sure that they're asking their members to leave a disclaimer that they're receiving your product either for free or at a discount. But Facebook review groups are something that a lot of people have used to get those initial reviews. Another strategy is to borrow someone's list. You know, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of other sellers out there that sell products to the same audience as yours, but they're different. They're non-competitive with your product. And the group that you're a part of, Amazon, the private label podcast, Empire Builders Group, there's lots of great free Facebook groups out there where you can network with other sellers. And if you sell blue widgets to, you know, a certain type of audience, there's other sellers out there that you can network with, and you help promote their launches, they help promote yours. That can be a great resource to get started. So step 3, build social proof with those first initial reviews.
Right. And really, guys, that's so important to get to that 10 review mark. I've seen a few of you commenting here. You know, you guys are seeing really good conversions with just 14 reviews, 7 reviews, but try everything you can. Take Kevin's advice there and get to that 10 review mark. The one thing you may want to keep an eye on, though, that I've noticed, and I want to ask your opinion on this, Kevin. If you've ever shared an IP with somebody, is it still okay to ask them to get a review on your product? Because I've heard conflicting responses on that. You know, if you've worked in the same office with somebody, Amazon will discount those reviews or won't allow them to be posted.
Yeah, it's a great question, Brian. You know, none of us know, including John Rossman, the guy that literally started the ball rolling down the hill, none of us know exactly the algorithm that Amazon uses today to delete reviews or to prevent reviews from being posted. Certainly, IP addresses have something to do with that. You know, it's one of the reasons that early on I would turn off my Wi-Fi when I went home to visit the parents or close friends. You know, I made sure to turn off my, I didn't connect to their Wi-Fi because I knew, especially in the early days, those first crucial reviews were so important. You know, there's other factors there. Think about schools where there's hundreds or thousands of students and teachers.
Right. Sure.
About, hotels that share the same IP addresses. Think about some of the conventions that you and I go to where there are thousands of sellers literally logging into our seller central accounts using the same IP address. So Amazon knows that, and it's not quite as simple as, okay, this review is left from the same IP as this one, and it's connected to this seller. Okay, delete. They've gotten really fancy. They do mine data from Facebook and other social media platforms. One of the other things I know that they do is they cross-reference people that you may have shipped items to. So if you have shipped items from your Amazon buyer's account to friends and family, then there's a likelihood that they won't be able to review your product as well. So that's why it is time-consuming, but it can be effective to get a few reviews from friends and family.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Kevin. Thank you for answering that.
Absolutely, yeah, and let me know, Brian, as questions come in throughout, feel free to interrupt. I'm happy to opine on any topic as well. So, all right, next step, we're getting close to the end here, guys. This is where it really gets fun. The next step is to turn on the traffic, and by traffic, in my opinion, the only source of traffic you should be turning on in the early stages of a private label product launch is Amazon-sponsored products. Quite simply, it's cheap, it's effective, and it is quick. What more could you ask for? Now, if you are on this webinar, there's a really good chance that you have taken advantage of Brian and Brian's Sponsored Products Academy, and there is no better resource, in my opinion, to help you become an expert at utilizing that internal traffic source that Amazon provides in really amazing ways. So hopefully most of you have access to that. If not, you should be beating on Brian's door every day asking for him to reopen that at some point in the not too distant future, because the training is just spot on. But guess what? It's pretty simple to start a simple campaign in Seller Central for a new product. What I've always recommended is to start an automatic targeting campaign. Just one campaign will do for your new product. Bid high and set as high of a daily budget as you're willing to spend. Keep in mind, you're looking for data at this point, not to be profitable with these ads. And what I typically do, Brian, is I wait a couple of weeks and then I start downloading the keyword targeting reports from that automatic campaign, and that data is really invaluable. I'm able to gain a lot of information there on what keywords are working, which keywords are not, what bid adjustments need to be made, and so on and so forth. So keep the keywords that are working, transition them into a more targeted, more honed in manual targeting campaign, and then keep optimizing. This is one of the biggest mistakes, and I'm curious on your thoughts, my friend, because you're really more of the PPC expert than I am, but I think one of the biggest mistakes people make about sponsored products is they set it and forget it. They just set up a campaign, maybe they do this early on, they set up some keywords, they hone in the bids, and they just let it run, and they never go in and look at the data and make improvements.
Yeah, Kevin, you're exactly right. Most people just let it run, and that is the opposite of what you need to be doing inside of your sponsored product campaigns. So, whereas your products themselves, if they get some organic rankings, you can come away from that. It doesn't need to be a daily check-in or update or optimization. Whereas with your sponsored products, you should be in there every day, if not just for 5 or 10 minutes, checking on things, watching trends inside of your account, watching your clicks and your cost per click, and of course your ACoS. But you know what? You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it out of the gate. When you first get those 10 reviews, you turn on your pay per click and you just launch an automatic campaign, just like you said. So launch the automatic campaign, let that run for 2 weeks. Then what you want to do is pull your reports and see what you're essentially at that point. You're allowing Amazon to validate your listing, and they're going to tell you what they think your product is about and what keywords they're putting you in front of. And from that, you can glean the successful key terms and the unsuccessful key terms. Then that's when you want to go put it into a manual campaign. And then that just becomes a whole nother ball of wax entirely. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave that to the experts.
Right. First things first, however, yeah, you got it right. You want to turn on the traffic. So turn on that automatic campaign, guys, and let Amazon validate your listing for you.
Yeah, right on, my friend. All right, so turn on the traffic, get all of that rocking and rolling. This is the fun one, my favorite by far, and it's ranking. And I want to share with you, some of you are going to be familiar with my secret weapon for ranking. Some of you won't. But stick around. In a few minutes, I'm going to share with you a special offer to let you test this out for yourself, and you can let me know how it works. But ranking a product, there's tons of ways that you can do this, okay? So there's more than one way to skin this cat. Now, lots of discussion in the past few months on the topic of super URLs and their effectiveness and whether they're banned by Amazon, and all kinds of even broader discussions, Brian, about promotions in general and whether Amazon bans promotions. I've had people write into me and call into the show and say, hey, Amazon is against promotions. It's against their terms. And I say, really? That's news to me. So let me dispel a couple of myths here.
Sure.
And this is from some of the connections I have at Amazon, former Amazonians. But really, you don't even need those connections. All you need to do is look at Amazon themselves. Amazon is the world's biggest promoter. Think about things like Prime Day or lightning deals or deal of the day. Amazon loves promotions, and guess what? They love it when you and I do promotions. But what they do want is they want transparency. They want to take care of their customers. They want your reviewers, when they do receive a promotion, to be transparent about that. And they don't like people gaming the system and leaving fake reviews or being incentivized to leave reviews and not leaving that disclaimer. But think about it real simply. If Amazon didn't want us to give away product at a discount, it would be a very simple fix for them. All they had to do is to remove the option for us to create coupon codes, and that would be a simple fix. So my secret weapon, Brian, for ranking products on Amazon is my good friends over at Zonblast. And I have a warning for everyone listening. I am biased. Okay, I have been using Zonblast since before it was even called Zonblast. It was literally a twinkle in my good friend Joe Gianfola's eye. He was looking for a solution, a way to kind of juice the algorithm, if you will, a way to introduce a new product to Amazon's search platform, which is called A9. And he found that by building up a massive audience of people that were hungry to review products in exchange for a discount, he could do so. And since those days, 2 years ago, there's a ton of other services that have come out on the market. And I can't give you thoughts or opinions on those because, quite simply, I haven't used them. I have used Zonblast. It's always worked for me, and I want to tell you exactly how I set up my campaigns with Zonblast to be most effective. All right, so for initial launches, when I'm first launching a product, I always use a solo blast. They have several different blast types on their menu over at Zonblast, and I always use a solo blast, which is just a one-off, okay? And I always use what's called the heat seeker URL. Now, I'm not a techie guy. I don't get into the mechanics of how certain types of URLs work and the differences between all of them, but here's what I can tell you. In December of last year, I launched a product in by far the most competitive space I've entered to date. I was going up against two big, well-known national brands that were each selling hundreds of units per day, and I had a couple of keywords that I needed to rank for in order to be successful with my brand new product. There was a lot riding on the line. I just invested $75,000 to license a patent for this product and get my first initial batch of inventory. So I targeted the main keyword. I went right for the big kahuna. And what I did is within one blast, one solo blast, giving away 150 units, I went from non-existent for this keyword, which is a very highly competitive keyword, to about the third spot on page one.
Wow.
Now, since then, I've launched about a dozen products. Some are more competitive than others, but typically with one blast, I'm able to get onto at least the bottom of page one, okay, just giving away approximately 100 units, give or take a few, depending on the product. That's with one blast. Now, that's one keyword, so there are lots of strategies that we use when ranking. I want to share two of my favorites with all of you today. The first step in determining which of these strategies to use is to figure out how competitive the keywords you're going after are. And there's lots of tools that can help you determine average search numbers and things like that. Pick your favorite, okay? Merchant Words, AMZ Tracker, there's lots of others, Google Keyword Planner. Once you determine whether your keyword that you're going after, and by that means your product, if this is a super competitive product, then the strategy I like to take is instead of trying to rank for the most popular keyword or even the second most popular keyword, I'll pick the fourth and fifth most popular keyword. So anytime I launch a new product, I determine what I believe, based on the data, are the top 10 keywords for that product in order of volume. So the number one is the most used search term for that keyword. Number 10 is the 10th most used search term for that product. And if it's a competitive product, I start around 4 or 5, and I first try to rank for numbers 4 and 5. What that does is, in conjunction with my sponsored products campaign, it gets the sales rolling. And they start trickling in, a couple of sales here, a couple of sales there. And what that does is it allows me to use the momentum from those sales to rank for the more competitive products. So this is kind of a snowball strategy. You may have heard people talk about a snowball strategy if you're paying off debt. If you have $50,000 in debt across 10 different credit cards, you don't want to just attack the largest balance. You want to start with the smaller ones and throw everything at those smaller ones. Once you get those paid off, then you're going to have even more money because you won't be making those payments every month. You want to go after the next largest and then the next largest. It's the same strategy here. Start with numbers 4 or 5 in order of volume for your keywords. Use that momentum once you get to page 1 for those to start attacking keywords 2 and 3, and then finally the big kahuna, keyword number 1. Now, if you're doing what Brian talks about, what I talk about, what those of us that really have been in the game for a while are talking about these days, and finding less competitive products, those unsexy products, if you're going after that double like we just mentioned a few minutes ago, then you may be able to go after that big kahuna, that number one keyword right out of the gate. And that's really, really good news, because once you rank on the first page for that one, the sales really start to pour in, and you can then go after the less competitive and lower volume keywords like the numbers 2 through 10 on your list. So just to recap, I use ZonBlast. I like Solo Blast for the initial launch. When you download the full launch strategy here in just a few minutes, you'll be able to read about some of the other types of blasts that they do. They have blasts that are good for, products that are stuck on page 2 and you're trying to get them to page 1. They even have a blast for products that may be stuck at the bottom of page 1 and you're trying to get to the top of page 1. And that's a really, really tough spot to be in. It requires a lot of diligence, and they have a strategy just for that.
Yeah, guys, and listen. So, Kevin, you're absolutely right, man. This is one of the what I like to in Amazon. When we're all selling in Amazon, you need different tools. So, what I like to call it is the Bat Belt, right? So, Batman's tool belt. He's got all the different tools on there, just like the Bat Belt. ZonBlast is a huge part of my arsenal. It's what I do right away. It's a promotional strategy, guys, that just works. These guys over there, they obsess about the algorithm more than anybody else, I think, online today, and they build these incredibly unique launch strategies. It's not just, hey, let's give away 100 units and hope for the best. They time it. They're interval launches. They'll do 10 one day, none the next day, 15 the next day. If you go to the site, you'll see what I'm talking about. But this is definitely one of the best strategies when you first launch a product, is to go with ZonBlast. Now, I know there's others out there too, but like you, Kevin, I haven't tried many of them. I've had a really bad experience with going to the Facebook groups and saying, hey, listen, I'll give you $200 and you guys can help me get a launch. And, I think it's one of the worst strategies, period. You don't have any control on how your product is given away, who's reviewing it, when they're reviewing it. So I like to stick to ZonBlast personally. So, and I took your recommendation on that, Kevin, when I started listening to your podcast. And I haven't looked back. So, guys, I think we're both behind ZonBlast right now.
Yeah, I mean, as we said earlier, there's other ways to do it. But the other thing, and this is a question I get a lot, Kevin, it's expensive to do a paid promotion like that. And I'm like, yeah, business is expensive, know?
Right.
What's your time worth? If I give away 150 units on a blast, it literally takes 5 minutes of my time. I can get on and schedule it all in one sitting. If I were to go and find 150 people willing to review my product at a discount, it would take days. And so my time is worth more than that. Yours is too. But I think the best way to try out strategies is to test them. And so here in just a second, I'm going to give everybody a chance to do just that.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
So let's get back to who is John Rossman. And John played an integral role in me kind of transitioning my launch strategy 3-4 months ago, which was still very heavy-handed, okay, I need to get to 500 reviews as quickly as possible. And he was one of the first people that really encouraged me to just take a chill pill. He said, hey, Kevin, why don't you just slow down and focus on ways of serving your customer and serving Amazon's customers. In his book, he talks about the 14 things that we can learn from Amazon. One of the first ones is to think big. In fact, I think the very first one is to think big. But that doesn't always mean bigger numbers in terms of reviews or in terms of the pace of a product launch. The last strategy or the last technique he talks about in his book, The Amazon Way, is to deliver results. So John played a huge role in really helping to reshape my business and get me pointed in the right direction, a direction that I'm now confident is going to be, sustainable for the long term, where I can remain in Amazon's good graces and really serve our growing customer base for a long, long time to come. In fact, I thought so much of John when I met him a few months ago and through the correspondence and all of the talks we've had since, that I asked him to come to Chicago at the end of this month and to headline an event that Zon Squad is putting on called Zon Squad Live. And shortly after we started putting together this event, I contacted you, Brian, and asked if you wanted to be a part of it. So I'm really thrilled that you'll be there to speak on our expert speaker panel, and that you're giving me the chance to really make this offer to your audience and try and include as many of them as possible. So June 24th and 25th at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago will be Zon Squad Live, 2 amazing days full of awesome speakers and presenters, a high-level sellers panel, learn their tips, their secrets, their strategies. I'll be on stage interviewing them, finding out not just the fluff, not just not just the basic stuff, but the exact techniques and strategies they're using to sell on Amazon. We'll also have a tools of the trade panel, what expert sellers are using and how to use them, 8 exclusive networking opportunities. You know, Brian, I'm sure you'll agree that this business, a lot of it is really about who you know, not just what you know, but who you know. The ability to network with people is so, so important.
I learned that directly just a few weeks ago. I was out in Miami at the Seller
Yeah.
Summit conference, and I was out there with a lot of really big names and big sellers too that you don't know, that are not public, and learning from these guys directly. I think when you go to a conference, the walls come down a little bit more. You can make friends, you can make connections, and guys, if you're not in a mastermind, you know, learning group or mastermind, you need to be. These person-to-person connections are the little tips and tricks that most people don't share publicly, but they'll share it with you if you get into their good graces. And that's what happens at a lot of these events. And Kevin, I'm really excited for this, and thank you for asking me to be a part of this and to speak. It's going to be totally fun. We're gonna kick ass and have a really good time, and it's right down the street from me, so that's not too bad either.
Yeah, we sure are. I think everybody has to travel further than you do. So you've got that
Yeah.
going for you. But no, we're excited. Chicago's a great place to be in the summer. And you're so right. If we were all insurance salesmen, it would be so easy to just find people in our neighborhood that we could network with and grab a coffee. But the fact that we're online entrepreneurs, it can be really lonely sometimes. So the ability to network with people is so important. So is the ability to learn from the experts. So here's the lineup of incredible speakers we have this year at Zon Squad Live. We've already talked about John Rossman, who will be opening the event. Nathan Chan, who's the founder and publisher of Founder Magazine. If you don't follow Nathan, you really should. He is an incredible young guy who in 2 years has launched a magazine called Founder Magazine, which bills itself as the entrepreneur magazine for young entrepreneurs. He's been able to interview people like Richard Branson and Oprah Winfrey, just some really heavy hitters in the world of business. And he literally launched this from his bedroom 2 years ago. One of Nathan's strong skill sets is building a massive audience of engaged followers on Instagram very, very quickly. So he'll be talking to us about building a massive audience for our brands on Instagram very, very quickly. Rachel Greer is a former Amazon product compliance and seller performance leader. So leadership at Amazon is their code word for supervisor or manager or executive. They don't like those traditional business terms. They prefer leadership. So Rachel literally ran the departments that all of us have nightmares about in our sleep, wondering if we're going to get that dreaded email about a listing being suspended or our selling privileges being revoked. So
Oh
she's
yeah.
going to talk to us about staying in Amazon's good graces. I can't wait to hear that.
Oh yeah, it's going to be huge. And guys, if you don't know Nathan Chan too, just to kind of throw this in here, Kev, he just came out with a great course on Instagram, and I went through it. It was phenomenal. This guy's the real deal. So
Yep,
I'm excited to say hi and thank him for his course. It's huge for us. It actually helped out
absolutely.
quite a bit. So
If you haven't purchased this course yet, you may want to wait because I think he may have something special in store for the attendees at Zon
very
Squad Live.
very cool.
Just a little tease there. So Mark Hirsch, who's not pictured here, but a really incredible guy, he is one of the leaders, one of the brains behind a company called Q Brands. And this is a company that is actively going out and acquiring private label brands just like yours and mine. So Mark is going to talk to us about preparing our private label businesses for sale. Exit strategy is so important in any business. Ours are no different. As private label business owners, I'm sure you don't want to be sitting there for the rest of your life hitting refresh on Seller Central, right? You know that eventually there has to be something else. Maybe you want to retire and spend more time with the family. Maybe you want to retire to the beach and just sit with your toes in the sand every day. Mark is the kind of guy that you want to get to know to learn the types of things you need to be doing now to make that a possibility 2, 3, 5 years down the road. We've also got Dan Metters and Eric Lambert. They're the co-creators of the Wholesale Formula. They're also $10 million Amazon sellers. And they're going to talk to us about some other things besides private label that we can do to make money on Amazon. You know, private label is my favorite money-making activity online, but there is lots of other things out there, and wholesaling is a big one. And these guys literally wrote the book on wholesaling on Amazon, so they'll be really interesting to hear from. Marone Barakat is the founder of Podcast Incubator and a product launch expert. This guy can launch anything. You've heard the cliche saying someone could sell ice to the Eskimos. This guy could launch this guy could launch the business that sold the ice to the Eskimos, and he'll have some really interesting strategies on top of what I'm sharing with you tonight on this webinar regarding product launches. Nicole Keating is the creator of The Art of Epic Wellness, and this is a really important topic to me, guys. You know, with the ability to talk to and interact with so many online entrepreneurs, I come across lots of the good stuff, but also lots of the bad stuff. You know, the loneliness, the depression, the anxiety that can sometimes come along with running an online business. And Nicole is so awesome at really just creating an amazing work-life balance and giving us strategies and techniques to put things in perspective. So Nicole Keating, creator of The Art of Epic Wellness, this month is on Squad Live. And then finally, Julie Schurenosher is the founder of Time Hackers, and she is a time management guru. You know, Brian, I don't know if everyone realizes this. Hopefully they do, but regardless of who we are, where we are, what we're doing, each of us has the exact same number of hours, days, and minutes in every single day. So why is it that some people get so much more done than others? And Julie will talk about time hacking and really getting more done. This business model, the private label business model, is one that is perfect and ripe for time hacking because so much of what we do can be outsourced, can be delegated, or can be automated. And yet I talk to so many entrepreneurs that struggle with this, and they fail to realize that they're really holding the keys to the kingdom. They just have to make the right decisions.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Time, guys, it's the most valuable resource, period. And in the beginning, when you're first starting out on Amazon, I don't know if, Kevin, you were like this, but you're in there almost the whole time, just obsessing and watching every little number.
Yeah.
As you progress, for those of you guys out there listening that are, still trying to figure it out a little bit, as you progress, there's good news. As you progress, you learn some of these hacks. You learn some of the strategies to keep yourself sane and not be in there every single day. So I'm really looking forward to hearing her speak too. I can always use another time hack. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So a lot of you hopefully are wondering, all right, Kevin, get to the point. How do I make it out to Chicago and join you guys for Zon Squad Live? Before we get there, let me ask you, does your business need more knowledge, more strategy, or the right network? Well, regardless of your answer, all this and more awaits you at Zon Squad Live when you join Brian and I on June 24th and 25th in Chicago. You know, right now, if you were to head over to zonsquad.com, tickets to Zon Squad Live are $7.97, which for all that you get and all the access to the events and the networking is well worth it. And the tickets go up to $9.97 in just a few days. But Brian asked me to do something extra special for Ecom Zon members. So those of you that are on this webinar or you're watching us on the replay, I have just an amazing offer. In fact, Joe and Brian, my partners, fought me a little bit on this, but I went to bat for you guys, and here's what we're going to do. For the next 50 of you to take action right now and commit to joining us at Zon Squad Live, we're not charging $7.97, and you won't pay the $9.97 that we go up to in just a few days. You're only paying $5.97. Now, guys, this is our early bird pricing that we got away from a couple of weeks ago. So people have been paying the higher price point, but because I care so much about Brian and your community, we wanted to do this special deal just for you. So $5.97 And there's the link right now. If you go to zonsquad.com/live, you're going to use the coupon code BBERTWEB, and that's going to take $200 off the ticket price. So for the next 50 action takers, in addition to the special pricing, you're going to get lifetime access to the recording. So a year from now, when you want to go back and rewatch Nicole Keating's presentation, or you want to rewatch the expert speakers panel, you'll be able to do that with lifetime access to the recordings. Also, this is what I've been waiting to give you, the free Zon Blast credits. For the next 50 to take action right now at zonsquad.com/live using the code BBERTWEB, you're going to get some bonus Zon Blast credits. This is going to allow you to test out the strategy that I just outlined and that you'll be holding in your hands in just a few minutes for yourself. And that really is the best way to determine whether or not it works for you. I promise you, you're going to be.
That's huge, Kevin. Thank you so much for doing that, man. I know you got a little pushback from your partners, but for everybody on this webinar, guys, just a heads up, we do have just a hair over 400 people on this webinar right now. I would run out and grab this if you're at all interested. If you're close to the Midwest, even if you're not, go out there because this is going to be huge. I paid $1,500 for my ticket. That went to Seller Summit. It was a similar event, 2-day event, great event. We didn't have anyone from Amazon speaking, no less the co-creator of the marketplace. Really looking forward to getting a chance to listen to him and hopefully get a few minutes of his ear. That was a great event. Guys, this is a third of that cost, and I think this event will be as good, if not better, than Seller Summit was. So jump on this, guys, right now.
And I'm already seeing a couple people on the checkout page when I look over at Infusionsoft. So thank you for those of you that are kind of on the fence. As Brian said, I have something really special for you. And this one I didn't even have to check with my partners on. I just threw it out because I wanted to do it for you guys so much. For the next 10 action takers, a couple of these are already gone, but there's still a few available. For the next 10 action takers, these are people that are going to take action right now and say, hey, I really want to get in on this. You're going to get a free 1-hour consulting session with me, all right? So if you go, not to toot my own horn, I actually hate how much I have to charge for consulting because it's one of my favorite things to do is to interact with other private label brand owners. But just because my time with the podcast is so limited, I charge $497 an hour, and there's tons of people, dozens of people every week, or every month rather, that sign up for those sessions. But right now, when you take action and commit to a Zon Squad Live ticket, not only are you getting the $597 early bird price and the free Zon Blast credits and the free lifetime recordings, you're going to get a 1-hour consulting session with me. We can do anything you want on that. We can talk about product selection. You can run some ideas by me. We can talk about growing your team and hiring the right people. We can talk about scaling your business and expanding into other platforms and other markets. We can talk about anything you want in that 1-hour consulting session with me. A couple other people already on the checkout page, so thank you again for that.
Awesome.
So here's a recap. Right now, when you go to zonsquad.com/live and you use the code BBERTWEB, for the next 50 people, you're getting the early bird price of $597, the lifetime recording access. You're also going to get a free product selection course. One of the most popular courses, Brian, that we offer is our product selection course, which breaks down exactly how to go and find a red-hot product very easily. That is a $97 value. The free Zon Blast credits, which is a $297 value, and then again for the next 10 action takers, a free 1-hour session with me. How's that?
Guys, that is huge. That is huge, Kevin. That's super generous there, man. I mean, so you're getting all of this when you pick up a ticket for Zon Squad Live, and for the next 10 people, they're going to get to work with you directly.
Absolutely. I can't wait. We'll book those sessions, just in case you're wondering, guys, we'll book those sessions starting in July. So we'll have some slots available in July and also in August. And you'll be able to pick a time that works for you, that's convenient for you. I work with clients all over the world. So regardless of where you are and you're watching this, you can work directly with me. And it's going to be fun. I cannot wait.
Nice. And I'll tell you what, Kevin, I'll throw something in here too. For everyone that jumps in, okay, guys, everyone that jumps in here through my discount code, I will of course be on the panel there at the event speaking. Afterwards, what I'd love to do is I'd love to put together a smaller mastermind dinner for all of us, and of course that's on my tab. And I'd like to get together with all the e-commerce honors that are on here. Every one of you guys that goes through and picks up a ticket. I mean, Chicago is my city, baby. So we're gonna get
Yeah.
together and we're gonna mastermind and really and talk about product strategy, and we're just gonna keep the ball rolling. I would love to do that. I would love to see you guys there. I did something very similar to that in Miami at Seller Summit, and we had a blast. One or two of us drank a little too much, and by one or two of us, I mean me. I mean me. And woke up with a hangover the next day, but that's okay, man. We had a great time. We got a lot accomplished, and we really made a lot of great relationships. So I'd love to have a nice little mastermind dinner on top of everything else you're getting here. You guys go through that, and you're in, and I will contact you and let you know about the dinner. So I haven't picked a place yet, but there's Chicago's such a hip city, and especially in the summer, guys,
Oh
it's one of
yeah.
the coolest. We're going through a bit of a rooftop revival this summer. So it's a
That's what
rooftop
I
roof.
hear.
Yeah, everybody, all the great restaurants they're building out these huge 3-story rooftops that are just a blast to go to. So I was thinking we could do something like that too for our mastermind.
Hey, that sounds like a lot of fun, Brian. Very generous of you to the ecom as honors out there. I know a lot of them will want to take advantage of that. Guys, when you think about the value of this, you think about what could you spend, $1,000 on. We talk about booking a ticket, getting a hotel and everything. Maybe $1,000, $1,500 on is going to drastically improve your business over the next six to 12 months. I can't think of a better way than investing in an event that brings knowledge and networking opportunities and all of the other goodies that we have in store for you guys at Zon Squad Live. So as promised, I don't want to promise something and not deliver. I really
Right.
want you guys to check out the full product launch strategy. I went through just the highlights here today, the 5 big steps. But for all the meat and potatoes, all the good juicy details, the bit.ly link is right there. I'm sure we can probably get Brian to send that out if he
Sure,
does
sure.
a
Why don't I
post
put,
webinar
I'll put
email as well.
Yeah, yeah. You know what, guys? This is being recorded. I know a couple of you guys asked about that. I will send this out, of course. And why don't I type in this Bitly link as well? I'll type it into the box so everybody can get it here now
Oh,
live.
awesome. Very cool.
So let me do
Yeah, so you'll
that.
go right there. It'll allow you to download it right away. No opt-in, no gatekeeping, just my gift to you. And again, on the left-hand side there, guys, zodsquad.com/live. Use the code BBERTWEB. That'll get you your $200 off the ticket price and also all the other goodies that we talked about, the free consulting session with me, the dinner mastermind session with Brian, the free Zonblast credits, the free product selection course, and the lifetime recordings. I can't wait to see a lot of you in Chicago in just a few weeks.
Guys, and we're going to get together. We're going to have a lot of fun rooftop mastermind dinner with me. Ask me whatever you want. I'm going to share some of my personal strategies, stories. I'm sure we'll have a great time, and I'd love to entertain you guys and have you at dinner with me and make a relationship. That's really what it's about, right? That's why these events are so important and so impactful on your business. I mean, just one or two golden nuggets would be great, and that's why a lot of you guys are on the webinars and we love that. And you listen to Kevin's podcast. But when you go to these events, you don't pick up one or two golden nuggets, right, Kev? I mean, you're picking up
Absolutely.
bags of gold from these events that you could immediately implement. When I was out in Miami, I would absorb all day long. I went to all the different sessions, and then in between sessions, I immediately was running back to my hotel room and implementing these strategies. I had my
Absolutely.
laptop, and that's that. It just made such a huge difference in my business. It's almost like I could have gone back and measured the ROI from, if I had done that, it would have been huge.
Oh,
Plus,
yeah,
guys,
absolutely.
plus it's just with all these bonuses that you're throwing in, knocking $200 off. That's amazing. You guys you don't have an excuse not to be here. It's going to be perfect weather wise. And, if you've ever been to Chicago, you know how cool it is in the summer. The Museum of Science and Industry is an awesome location, by the way, Kevin. I've been meaning to tell you that. Who picked that? Because that's a really
Oh,
cool
great.
location.
We have a great event planner that found that for us, and I've not been before, so I'm looking forward to checking it out. But yeah, such a great spot. If you have a spouse or you have kids, a great place to bring them. They can peruse the museum for 2 days, and there's more than 2 days worth of stuff to see there, I'm told, while you're learning and networking inside a private ballroom there at the museum with the other attendees. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chicago, I mean, guys, it's in a part of the city where if you do bring your wife or if you bring your kids, it's in a part of the city where there's so much to do. I mean, so much to do. It's right downtown. So, they'll get lost and have a great time too. But yeah, this is fantastic, man. This is fantastic. I'm so geeked up for this thing, guys. By the way, I know a lot of you guys watch my videos and you've seen my style of filming and editing, and I've gotten a ton of compliments on that. Thank you, everybody, for saying such nice things. It's actually something I do myself, and I'm going to do that at the event too. So I'm going to chronicle the event. I'm gonna have my camera on, and we're going to be talking to a lot of people and if you're out there, maybe we can get you on camera. You can share your tips. You can share your story, and then
Nice.
you'll wind it up being a little bit famous inside of one of my videos. So that's always kind of fun too.
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely. Steven
So,
Spielberg Jr. at
right?
Zod Squad.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I'll tell you what. Screw this private label stuff, man. I'm just going to go into movie making.
Yeah, well, more importantly, if this doesn't work out, Brian, I mean, if this doesn't work out, you always have that to fall back on.
hmm hmm
I think it's
It's.
going to work out, though.
I would love. I mean, I think that would be my dream. If only it paid as well as Amazon.
Yes, yes. There you go. There you go.
So great. All right, guys. So that's awesome. Kevin, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share?
There's not just my love and appreciation for all of you guys. Thanks for hanging with us. Thanks for all that you do. I think Brian would agree with me that we get so much joy and pleasure out of just interacting with people like you every single day. I know it's what gets me up in the morning and gets me excited. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, guys. Thank you all. I love everybody. Big kiss. Good night. All right. Take care, guys. Bye bye.